So, talking about emotional homes, this next bit that I'm going to share with you, I'm going to draw it on the whiteboard. So this is quite important. We've got a state of 4 emotional homes where we live. And I'm going to write them up on here. So, and I explain this a little bit better in diagram form. I want you to imagine this is just a bird's eye view of your head. It's a fucking big head. Right. So, here we go. We live in one of 4 areas, right? Sometimes we go to different areas, but it's usually we spend most of the time in 1 or 2 of them, okay? So, I want you to imagine that there's a hotel in your mind, okay? This is a high-rise tower hotel, and where do you want to spend your time? The penthouse. Everyone wants to spend the time in the suite, which is always on the top, right? So this is quite the nice place to be. This room right here is where the light is. I see the light. I feel great. I'm progressing. I'm calm. I have inner peace, etc. Okay, not to say that it's always going to be that way, but this is ultimately where we all want to live, in the light area, the light room. Okay, the penthouse. Think of it that way, right? I like to give nice little visualizations to get you guys to think about this on a little bit of a deeper level. So, we're starting at the bottom and we work our way up until we get here, because we don't start our adult life in the light phase, right? Of course we don't. We might initially be quite naive as youngsters and feel very happy, but then things get piled on top of us. We experience stress and anxiety and depression and situations and whatnot, and we live further down than what we'd like to. So, starting from the bottom, the very, very bottom room of the hotel is the past room. Now, what I'm about to say, you might be able to relate to in 1 room, 2 room, or 3 rooms. You might see yourself in different areas. But think of where you spend the most of your time, because that really matters, because I'm going to show you, when you realize where you're spending most of your time, I'm going to show you afterwards how to overcome it and how to really move forward. All right? Because depending on where you spend most of your time depends on what you should do to move forward. Okay? So in the past room, you have somebody who is numb, sad, who has lost the ability to dream, who has lost the ability to get too excited, who blames and is victimized a lot, who is always saying things like, yeah, but. Maybe you yourself are like this, or you know people who are like this, because this will help other people as well if you take this information back. So they say things like, yeah, but these people are addicted to drama as well, because there's the lack of excitement in their life. This is one of those places as well where people need reaffirming. So what they'll do is they'll say to somebody, isn't that right? And they'll shake them and go, aren't I right? What do you think? Isn't that right? Aren't I right? Aren't I right? Need that reaffirming, okay? So, do you recognize some of your traits in what I've just said? If so, then you're living in the past room. When we move forward from the past room, we enter the change room. Now, if you're living in the change room, you are very much the roller coaster person. You obviously want change, you're accepted with change, you have changed, but you can't change fully, you're back and forth. You're chasing the high. You're also scared to take off the happy mask. Anyone asks you how you're doing? That's fine. But you're not. Because you don't want to feel like a burden, or you don't want to really unload or say, I'm struggling. So you just say, it's fine. Right? I think we've all been there. Some of us might still be there. And that's okay. Okay, that's okay. These people say, what if? These people are the overthinkers, very much. But what if this? But what if that? But what if this? Because overthinkers are ready for change. More so because you don't want to stay there. Hence why we overthink. Because if we didn't bother overthinking, we wouldn't be ready for some kind of change. Makes kind of sense. We want to change, but we're overthinking it. Okay? What happens with these people as well is when they start feeling good, they start to neglect the little things that brought them there. Let me see if you can relate to this. You've worked out really well. You have went on a diet for a holiday or a special event, and you came back and you couldn't get back on it. That's because you felt good, and then you neglected everything after it. You did it for an event or a time. That's a very basic example, but this is very frequent, is that we only end up looking after ourselves up to a certain point when we think, well, I feel good now, so I don't need to do that other stuff. Whereas life and training and getting better and progressing never stops. It's a daily effort and a daily journey until they pour dirt on you. That is the truth. And if we don't understand that and get to grips with that, we suffer a lot in our minds. Because when we're progressing, we're much happier. We have to understand that. So, do you notice traits of yourself in the change room? Are you spending a lot of time in there? So once we've conquered the change room, the further up towards the light room is the journey room. Now this again is a bit more upbeat, if you will. This is the people who are motivated for change, who are happy and optimistic, want to move forward, don't look back, sometimes play till the crash. Maybe he's a workaholic who's very upbeat, always playing, now to bother, quite good place, but doesn't ever look back, but doesn't realize at the same time that there's stories from the past still holding them back. And they wonder why they get so far, they still feel good, but they're like, just get stuck frequently. So maybe this is you. Maybe you spend some of your time in that journey room. And so, what is the light room? What is that place in your mind? What's the traits of someone who lives there? This is where you've traveled the journey and you accept your flaws. You admit you've made mistakes and you don't want perfection. And you don't even strive for perfection. You strive for progress. Progress over perfection. You just want to get better in any way. That's it. And you're happy enough to admit where you went wrong and where you want to go. This person's very open, and I guess you could say that this is where things flow. And you've got momentum. And you've got inner peace. And you've got calm. And I guarantee at some point in your life, you've probably felt that, but it didn't last long. Something happened, or somebody said something, and you got dragged back down to the other areas. So how do we spend more time in this area? Because that's where we want to be, right? We want to be in the light room. We want to feel fulfilled more. We want to feel happier. Of course we do. So what do we need to do in order to get there? Well, there's 2 things for each room, depending on where you sit, which will help you. So, I'm all about simplifying things. I've told you 3 simple things already to help you move forward. Change your state, change your focus, and change your language. Here's another 2 things on top of that, depending on where you spend your time. And you might think, well, I've spent my time in all of them, or 2 of them, or 3 of them. Where do you spend most of your time? Where do you spend most of it? Because you'll know, if you're honest with yourself, you'll know. Okay, I've given you every kind of trait that you can relate to. Everyone in the room should know by now where they kind of sit. Okay? So, if you sit in the past room a lot, where you're numb, sad, life's on autopilot, lost the ability to dream, lack of excitement, addicted to drama, always saying yeah, but. If you're in that area of your life, there's 2 things, simple things that will massively help you specifically move forward. Number 1, is count the wins. Count the wins of the day. So what do I mean by that, right? So you have a notebook by your bed, and you either do it before bed or on a morning. I would recommend before bed, because when you're low and sad, you tend to get horrible thoughts before sleeping, and people struggle sleeping a lot. So you write down all the good things that have happened that day. So you write down that you drank more water, that you laughed at work, that you walked around the block. Simple things. I went to the gym today. I had anything that you can pick out that was good. Now straight away I know what you're going to be following up with. What when you have a really shit day though, Luke, and you're just really angry and pissed off and you just want to isolate yourself and you can't be bothered? I say, look, I remind you of this story. Ex-client of mine said that she was very grateful that on the day of her father's funeral she was able to speak at the sermon, and she was able to say how proud she was of him and the times they shared and what a good man he was. That was her showing gratitude at the death of a parent. So now I say to you, if you've had a shit day at work and you bitch and moan about that, I'm sure you can find something little to extract. Or even if you've had a really bad day, it's not as bad as that. And you can still take some gratitude from the day. What does this do? Why is this important? Because if you're low and sad and depressed and anxious and victimized and you blame, you need something to reaffirm that it's all right, that you're doing okay. This done on a consistent basis will reaffirm, hey, you know what? It's going all right. I've got hope. Hope is a powerful thing to someone who is living in the past category, in that room. Very, very powerful thing. And if you feel yourself slipping down there, that's a really, really important, simple exercise. It'll take you 2 minutes. 90 seconds to 2 minutes to write a list of 5, 10 things, whatever you can come up with, about why the day was good. Might seem so simple, but I say don't knock it until you've tried it. The second thing that will really help the person in the past room is to journal. Is to write down the thoughts. Like a Dear Diary kind of thing, right? Because at some point, you'll get to the point where you go, wow, this is eye-opening. Things are different when they're on paper and they're out your head. Very different. And hopefully you'll get to the point where you say, I don't want to be this person anymore. Maybe I need some help. Great step for someone who's in this place, writing down, journaling, getting reality, putting it down on paper, gets it clear in your head. Again, get in your head, you're dead. Get in your heart and you'll start. Your heart really wants to put this stuff down. It wants to express itself. It wants to be okay with not being okay. The problem why we don't do this is because we're scared about what we'll find. But again, we have to go inside and be self-aware in order to move forward. So that's 2 things for people who are living in the past room. So if you're living in the change room, this is the roller coaster person, scared to take off the happy mask. Now it's a bother, when really it is. Okay? This is the person who is the overthinker, who's, but what if this, what if that, what if this, oh God, no, what if? If you find yourself in this room frequently, there's 2 things that will help you. The first thing is next day preparation. So before you go to bed, at some point, you prepare the next day. And I don't just mean to-do list, take the shopping, take the dogs out, do whatever, right? That's just general stuff. Yes, write it down. That's important so you're not too overwhelmed. But more so, prep some things into your day which are important that you intend to do. Drink more water. Go and walk around the block. Send an appreciation message. Do the things that you know are going to help you. You know the things that you should be doing? You probably know what they are, but you're not doing them. Some of them need to be put in. So prep the next day. Make sure you've got a sense of direction going to bed. That will help you overthink less. Okay, so that's such a simple thing. The next day should always be prepped in terms of, right, what time am I doing this? Where am I going tomorrow? Simple bit of writing down. I'm very big on writing down, but it's massively helped me cure overthinking. Or should I say reduce overthinking, not cure or stop, because it never fully goes away. But what's the next thing? Next thing is a great morning ritual, a morning routine. Some of us, I understand, hit the snooze button until the last minute and then rush about. If you are an overthinker, this will cripple you. I'm telling you now. This will cripple you over time and you will struggle to move forward. Morning times are vitally important toward moving forward. So get yourself into a good morning routine. Wake up to execute. Wake up to do something that is positive and productive for you. So that could be wake up to exercise. That could be wake up to study. That could be wake up to meditate. That could be wake up to appreciate someone or journal. Do something that helps you move forward. Waking up to do something. Rather than just waking up in chaos, turning on the news, listening to who's been fucking bombed and murdered and raped. Oh, that's a lovely way to start your day, isn't it? If you do that, I can't condone enough stopping that shit right now. Because the brain is operating at a very functional time first thing on a morning, right? It's very influential. If you ever got in the car and turned the radio on and sang the same song you heard first all day, why is that song in my head? Why is that song in my head? Because your brain is optimal in the morning. So it makes sense to feed it with good shit in the morning. This is such a simple bit of advice. But if you follow it for a sustainable period of time, it will make a difference. You can't just do it once and say, I did it once and it didn't work. That doesn't work. Come on. I have to have a little bit of consistency here, guys. Okay, so think about that. Your brain is operating at a very, very influential rate on a morning, so it makes sense to get up and do something for you. So you might say, oh, well, I haven't got time on the morning, right? Set your alarm earlier. That extra 20 minutes in bed ain't gonna do jack shit, really, right? It ain't. That extra 20 minutes, you could be up doing something good. Set your alarm earlier. Here's the thing, I do snooze, right? But I set my alarm deliberately earlier, so I snooze once or twice, so I'm still up on time. If you want to know personally my morning routine, I get up at 5:05 at the latest, go down, make a coffee, and I do a breathing technique on a morning. Sometimes I wake up with anxiety. I notice this if I sleep bad, I sometimes wake up a little bit anxious, right? So I do a breathing technique by a guy called Wim Hof. If you're not familiar with him, you should YouTube him and find out some stuff. He's fantastic, right? So it's just a basic breathing technique pattern, which is my relaxation. Put some nice meditation music on and I just calm down. And it just calms me. I wake up to be peaceful. I wake up to calm down. It's a nice way to wake up, right? Most people wake up to chaos and then they wonder why there's so much stress and anxiety through the day. I wake up to calm and then I face the chaos of the day. So I meditate or just breathe for 15, 20 minutes, have a coffee, cat cuddles, total definite point of the day. And then I bounce on my trampoline for 5 minutes and leave the house. And I go and coach. Or I train myself. Why do I bounce on the trampoline? Because it's changing my state. I've just got a little mini trampoline in my back garden. And I just do 3 minutes, like one song. And I'm pumped up. I'm ready to go. By that time, I've changed my state, right? I've moved. I've relaxed. I've done something nice. I've had a share of love and connection with the kittens and stuff. And it's nice. It's nice. I like that. And that helps me move forward with the day. So that's a morning routine, a morning ritual. Right, so how long did that take? Around 50 minutes. You might think, I don't have that time. So what could you do in 15 minutes? Could you bring it down? Even if it's just one thing, could you just get up to meditate? Could you just get up to study? Could you just get up to exercise? Get up to do something other than getting up to chaos, right? So the morning routine is vitally important, guys, if you are living in this area. Next day prep and morning routine. Okay, that's really, really important. So if you're in the journey room, what is it that you need to do for this person who is very motivated, happy, optimistic, but doesn't realize there's past things holding them back, which kind of gets so far, stops for a bit, doesn't realize why, doesn't bother looking back, but very much quite on the journey and doing well. This person still needs to do things regularly as well. For this person, meditation and silence is important, or silence. Now, when I say meditation, I'm no guru at meditation, right? First few times, if you've ever tried meditation and you're not familiar with it, what usually happens? You sit down, you put the music on and you go, fuck, what have I got to do? What's that? Oh, what have I got to do here? I can't shut it off, can't do it. Nah, it doesn't work, fuck it. Fuck it. That's what we do, man. We tried a couple of times and it didn't work and we're overthinking it and then we don't bother, right? That's what we do. But hey, I say this to you, look. If meditation is a bit woo and a bit whatever and you can't quite get your head around it, choose relaxation. Because that seems appealing. Do you want to relax now? Yeah. When would you say, no, I don't want to relax? Only when you're pissed off, really. Like, no, I don't. But like, that's appealing. So sit, put some music on, just breathe. Breathe. If you want to look at some breathing techniques online, do it. But just sit and breathe. Try and calm. You do it for space, to create headspace so you make better choices. So you're calming yourself down, so you're able to be less reactive and more productive, right? And you're able to express yourself more. You do it to calm the brain, to calm the thoughts. Just choose relaxation over meditation if meditation's too much of a jump for you. There's always something you can do. It could be just like, literally, I call what I do meditation, but it's not really. It's just relaxing. It's just breathing and relaxing. But it does the job. It does the job. We have to simplify this and not think that it's this thing that only is designed for hippies and tree huggers. It's totally not. It's designed for everybody. You can just chill and relax. So what's the second thing for this person in the journey room? What is that? It's intentions. Setting the daily intentions. Something to have a sense of direction. Because if we feel like we've got a direction and we're moving forward, hey, guess what? We are happy. We are happy when we are progressing. Very happy, okay? I say to people like, what do you want to be? I want to be happy. And I say, well, that's not really the goal, because if I give you your favorite chocolate cake and 500 quid, you'd be very happy. But within an hour, you'd be like, all right, okay, well, that excitement's wore off. But if you're progressing, that's being happy. If you're progressing in your life, you're getting better, stronger, fitter, more confident, more energy rich, that's you feeling better, right? So that's really important to remember is the intentions for the day. But the problem is that we end up seeking, like I said before, we seek the next pill, the next diet, the next person, the next thing that's going to help us get there quicker. Do you guys remember Juice Plus and Body by V and all that? Now, I'm not slating the products, I think they've definitely got their place, but remember how popular it was and then it just went? And then something else came and it just went, and then there'll be something now, I don't know what it is, but trends, patterns, they just happen, right? Because everyone's looking for the next thing, like give me it, give me it, give me it. Everyone's seeking, they're not being. That's the problem, is we're seeking, we're not being in here. We're not looking after like what's really important. We're just seeking the next pill, or portion, or program, or coach, or whatever somebody else is doing, right? Because we believe that in order to have more, which is what we want to have more out of life, we need to do more. We need to do more to have more. Well, that's true. There's an element of truth in that. Do, and we'll have. But do is usually do for others. Do for others. Do for others. How's that expected to have more? You know what's missing from that? In order to have more, you do need to do more, but in order to do more effectively, you need to become more. So it's not do and have, it's be, do, and have. Become more within yourself, making better choices, looking after yourself a little bit before giving to everybody else so you've got no energy left to yourself. That's not being totally selfish, it's being a little bit selfish so you can be selfless. So as you work on yourself and you increase your calm and you increase your patience and your energy and your focus and your confidence, everybody else gets a better version of you. You're more patient with your kids, you're more patient with your partner, you improve all the relationships around you, you improve yourself and your choices because you worked that little bit on you, you made the choice to work on you. And that is really, really important to remember. So the thing is, I've given you some stuff here to do depending on where you are. And the light room, what does that person do? Because I've given you the 2 for each of these. Obviously that person does every one of the ones below, almost every day. That's how you stay there. That's the secret. That's it. That's it. See you later. No, the thing about it, right? Now, the things that I've just given you, the 6 things, so you've got count your wins, your journal, right? You've got your good morning routine, you've got your intentions, you have got your meditation, and you've got your next day preparation. That's 6 things. You might be thinking, well, that's a lot of things to do. You could do all of that in an hour. All of that in an hour a day. And if you say, I don't have time, that's bullshit. It really is, because how much time do you spend flicking through your phone? On a night or on a dinner time or on a morning, or how much time you spend watching TV? 1 hour. 1 hour of productive work on you. What if that would change everything? And it would. I'm telling you. Because I'm showing you. That's what I've done. And I'm not saying that I live here all the time. Of course I don't. Nobody lives here all the time. They might say they do. But everyone has things happen in their life which knock them down, right? And then you end up overthinking a bit, and you think, but when you start overthinking, what do? Go back to what I said. Right, okay, I need to get back into my morning routine now. Then I'm going to start venturing up to here. What do I need to do when I'm here? I need to remember the meditation. I need to remember to set my intentions, and I'll build myself back up. What do I do when I drop back down? I know I need a journal right now. I need to count my wins. I need to remind myself that I'm worth it. Do you see how this would work? This would work if you put it into practice. And you can always, thankfully I spend most of my time in these 2 rooms, occasionally slipping back to here, but thankfully never back to there. But that's where I started. And I think everybody starts around about that area, really. It's how we build yourself back up. You have a set of tools right now. And I've told you, now you understand a bit, and hopefully you understand a bit more about where you are in your head and where you spend your time. The likelihood is you're overthinking this less, right? Because I've simplified it for you. Simplifying it doesn't give you an excuse to not do it. But by complicating it, you do. So hence we overthink all the time and complicate shit because it gives us a reason to not do it. Because we're all lazy to a certain extent, right? I would rather have the simple, easy thing than go through massive amounts of hard work. I would rather have the thing that takes the less time. But sometimes it doesn't work that way. We have to put in the work in order to get the result, right? So now we understand a little bit. It takes away the fear, okay? And once the fear is taken away, it's not that the fear is eliminated entirely, because there's always going to be that fear when we get uncertain and we get excitement. There's that little bit of fear. It's always going to be there. But now I've cut it and made it a little bit fearless, you're able to move forward with it. You're able to say, actually I know what I've got to do now. And I can do that. I can try that. Now that you know, and now that you understand, you fear less. And here's what will happen, is you will go away from here, and you'll feel, that was pretty good. Well, hopefully you'll feel that was pretty good. Hopefully, fucking hell. You'll think, actually, that was really good. I really need to hear that. Oh, God, I know where I'm going to go now. I'm going to do this. Yeah, come on, let's do it. And you'll be quite positive for a couple of days. And then something will happen, and you'll just revert back to what you usually do. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope you prove me wrong. But that's what you tend to find. You know, for everybody in the room in a seminar, you know, there'll be less than 20% of the people who take away and do it. They'll think they will, but they'll not. That's the way the world works, right? That's the way that statistics work that way. But, however, I want you to understand that you can think positive and give all the affirmations and be positive and upbeat, but without the discipline, you are in total disillusion. You need the discipline to do these things regularly as well. Because without it, you'll just make an excuse or you'll complicate it or whatever, and you'll say, not right now, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I don't have this, I'm not capable yet, right? My head's not in the right place. You'll say these things, and you'll complicate matters.